Hello. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, Sally, and hello, Riverman. Riverman, I can see you, though I can't hear you, naturally. Maybe you need to turn your mic on. Hello, it's good to see you guys. So, let me know, what are you reading? Are you reading anything fun? I actually, I am reading this book, and as you can see, I've taken the dust jacket off because, naturally, because I don't want to break my dust jacket. So I am reading The Wren in the Holy Library by K.A. Linde. Don't know how you pronounce it in English. Anyway, so the dust jacket, when I have it on, it's gorgeous. It's absolutely beautiful. And it has, this edition also has like sprayed edges, I think it's called. And they're really pretty as well. And I have this bookmark here, which is Pentacle, and actually made this bookmark myself. So that's what I'm reading currently. I am over halfway. Not sure if you can see it, but I'm over halfway through the book, and I'm enjoying it so far. Sally says, I love your background. Thank you. It's I think it's from a library in Prague. It's one I got from Pixabay. So you can download them and use them for free. It's royalty free and it's fine. But I wanted, I was thinking of making my own background, but I haven't gotten that far yet. Work, and Sally's working, saying, working my way through the many samples that are on my Kindle. All right, so you're reading samples. That's actually, I guess, a good way to figure out whether you want to read a book or not. I'm not very good at reading samples. For some reason, I have so many books to read, so I don't feel like I can just like start a sample if I don't intend to finish it, I guess, or to read it. I do have a Kobo, and I do actually have quite a few books on my Kobo. Oh, hi, Tankable Reads. Hi. Oh, good to hear it. Tankable Reads is elsewhere, but wanted to drop in and say hi and give a big thumbs up. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I have a feeling that, of where you are. I actually figured out after I decided to do this reading sprint that someone else that I'm subscribed to actually is also doing a sprint currently. That's fine. So yes. So I don't know what to say about this book that I'm currently reading. It's a fantasy book. Sally Lucas find Kindle really annoying. So why are you finding the Kindle annoying? I think having a Kobo is super helpful actually, because I do travel a lot. I go places, and then having a Kobo or an e-reader is a lot more easy to drag around than a bunch of books. And then I can also kind of see what strikes my fancy when I run out of or finish a book. Or if I don't finish a book, if there's something else I'd like to read. Sometimes I just want to read something else. Reminding me to give a thumbs up. Yes, giving a thumbs up is a good thing. It's like I think somebody said that giving a video is a thumbs up is like giving applause, I guess. It also kind of helps the channel, so that's a good thing. So yes, I was going to. Don't know. As I said, I don't really know what to talk about. What to say about this book. So I think it's categorized as romantasy, and the main character is really, really, really. She's a really strong female character. So she's pretty badass. She has pretty much grown up on the streets, I guess. She's very street smart. She's very good at stealing things, and that's kind of something we get to know at the very beginning of the book, because she is out on a mission mission. So she's kind of gotten a mission from someone and to steal something, and she breaks into this house to someone who's really rich and going to steal something. And things don't quite go as planned. Just let's say that. So yeah. So there's that. It's also said to be a Beauty and the Beast retelling. So of course, what can I say? There's a library in there, of course, and there's a beast. Of course, it is what it is. Sally says, my old one was so easy to organize, whereas my new one has a clumsy organizing system. Oh, really? I've never used... Well, actually, that's not true. I've used a Kindle many years ago when I tested. I actually tested out different e-readers and stuff. This must have been back in 2011. I tested out different e-readers or like reading devices for the job that I had at the time, and it was interesting, but I ended up actually buying a Sony e-reader for myself after testing it, because that's the one that I like the most. And since then, I've kept 2 EPUB e-readers. So I am currently on my 3rd e-reader. I had like an Onyx box between those 2. And the reason for that was that it had an Android... what do you say, kernel in English? Kärna in Norwegian. I think it's kernel, isn't it? Well, it had Android, and I was able to use the library app that we had at the time, which is not longer in production, and I wasn't able to do any updates anymore or anything, and it became super slow, and it was old. So a couple of years, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, I can't quite remember exactly when, I actually went ahead and bought myself a Kobo Clara, and I'm super happy with it. And one of the things I really love about it is that I can just log into Overdrive and read English library books. The Norwegian app that we have for ebooks and e-audiobooks is not that good, which is a pity, because a lot of patrons want to listen to audiobooks, and the publishers are not happy with people listening to audiobooks for free. So they kind of just want for us to buy, with kind of buy licenses, can't speak, licenses, I think it's called, And the system that we have, it's kind of interesting. I'm speaking as a librarian here. The system that we have is very similar to one they used to have in Sweden, but they stopped using it because it didn't work. It ate up the budget and it wasn't very good, and that's what we see as well. It was worked. It was negotiated with it was like the National Library, as well as the publishers or someone representing the publishers that had these negotiations to how it was supposed to work like. And the system is super poor for libraries and of course for patrons, and which is super sad because it's super hard to there's like really not a lot of books. We actually have a better audiobook collection in English than we have in Norwegian, and that tells you something, doesn't it? So that's really a pity. But yeah, the publishers don't want us to lend out audiobooks for free. It would have been much better if we had something similar to when we had physical audiobooks to lend out to patrons. The problem, though, is with the physical, if you're wondering about the physical audiobooks, is that the publisher has stopped producing them in Norwegian. I think maybe English ones are still around, but they didn't sell enough here, so they stopped producing them. So when there's no audiobooks to buy, you can't like keep up a proper collection of audiobooks, unfortunately. So that being said, for English books, audiobooks, as well as ebooks, we have Libby by Overdrive, so that means that I can borrow ebooks on my Kobo. That was a very long way to say talk about like my Kobo and why one of the things I really like about the Kobo. I recently did like a update thingy, not update, but I needed to do like a reset of the Kobo, so that messed up things. I missed all my, I lost all my my bookmarks and stuff. So I need to actually, what I'm going to do at some point in a not distant future, I need to go and tidy up on my Kobo, and that of course wasn't the why. It was because of the reset or the whatever you call it. Yeah. So there's that. So, do you use any like library apps or anything? I do you have any questions? Or should we just start reading? We can start reading. So I have set the timer to 30 minutes and was thinking we could read for 30 minutes and then do a chat again. And Riverman has a book app in Apple. All right. Well, you could probably have... Is that a library one? Prefer hard copies. Yeah, if you're reading on your phone, I don't like reading books on my phone. An e-reader is a different story because you have e-ink. So it's much more comfortable. As in like electronical. So, but I do read paper books still, of course. I try not to buy so many books anymore because they're expensive. So it's better to borrow from the library. Anyway, I'm going to set the timer to 30 minutes. We're going to read for 30 minutes and then I'll come back and we can have another chat. All right? Hello. Hello, hello, hello. How did your reading go? Hey, Van. Hey, good to see you. How is your reading going? Did you finish Leech? I know you were talking about earlier, or like yesterday, on your reading sprint that you were reading Leech. Are you done? And how did the reading go for the rest of you? So I had to make myself a cup of tea, of course, so that took a little bit of time. So I haven't quite finished it, but I'm almost finished. And this is my mug. It's a really old mug. I bought it in York back in 1995 and I just love it. It's like a purple classic Winnie the Pooh, not the Disney Winnie the Pooh, but like classic with the illustrations of Shepherd. The person who actually excuse me, who actually illustrated the books by Milne, the creator of Winnie the Pooh. So Van says, finally found the character's name at the 93% mark. Also read the novella Under the Folks today, which was surprisingly full of heart, to be honest. Oh, that's good. So that's quite some reading done. Well done. I read, it's kind of hard to say how much I read because I stop in the middle of chapters. I know a lot of people can't do that. Sometimes even stop at the middle of a page. I didn't this time though because it had like a natural ending. So I'm on page, well, I just finished page 222, and I was on, I think I was like on the middle of page 206 when I started reading the sprint. So some stuff happened in the book, quite revealing stuff, a couple of surprises, so that's a good thing. Things are taking another direction than I kind of expected it to. So I kind of thinking of I am thinking about like the fourth wing. I actually have Iron Flame to be read, not in a very distant, I can't speak, in a not very distant future. So I am planning on maybe reading that after I finished. No, I'm not. I have another book that I'm reading after this. I'm going to read the Bone Dusts and Bookshops, I think it's called. It's this like the prequel to Legends and Lattes, for those of you who have read that, which is cozy fantasy. This is absolutely not very cozy. But yeah, what I was going to say about Fourth Wing is that they're very different, but they have some. I can see the romanticy elements in it. Fortunately, it took like over halfway before it got really spicy. So I'm probably going to talk about this book in some other video as well, but we'll see. So Ven is moving on to A House of Good Bones by T. Kingfisher. I haven't read that. I need to read more by T. Kingfisher. I've read 2 books previously. I've read What Moves the Dead, and I've read the one that is nominated, that is like a Hugo finalist this year. Thorn something. It's Thorn Edge? Don't quite remember, but I really like the novella. So I have actually another, or I had 2 other Kingfisher books. I have one on my e-reader that is that was a Hugo finalist a few years ago, so I was voting for the Hugos that time as well, so I got that in a Hugo pack. And I also have a hard copy or a paperback of another book. Okay, so it's about to start howling down outside here. It's gone very dark suddenly. Well, Van, you live in England. You know, we all know how the weather is like in England, don't we? It can be wet, quite wet. Ven says, I read Legends and Lattes, I need to give it another go. Oh, didn't you like it? That's a pity. I actually loved it. I actually read it when I was traveling from Fredrikstad to Sligo in December, when we had like the worst travel experience ever. I'm sure you remember then, with all the delays and the weather. That was not fun at all. But that's when I read Legend and Letters, and I think it was like perfect for the timing, because I had something cozy to keep me company while I had this like journey from hell. Remember and hate Dementors. Yeah. Don't we all? Then saying Nettle and Bone. No, I've not read that. I think it's called Thornhedge or something. So Ben says, so I buddy read with Noah, but what we streamed is streamed it reading it together, so no, it kind of broke the reading flow. Oh yeah, I don't think I would want to do that. I actually haven't seen that. I was planning on, because you were doing that before I'd read the book, so I was thinking of going back and watch it, but then watching a live stream like later on, it's not the same as watching the actual live stream, you know. Then says, I remember that traveling disaster. Yes, I was good at keeping you updated. Oh, that was not fun. Then says, I liked it better when I stopped reading it with Noah and finished it on my own. I enjoyed it more. Yeah, I can understand that. There's sometimes you just need the reading flow, and I definitely had enough time to read on that journey. Sally says, I'm in England and it is dry here. Current temperature is 80 F. I'm not very good with Fahrenheit. How much is that in Celsius? My feet are in a bowl of cold water. Ben says it has been nice for 2 days, but Manchester weather is shifting. Yeah. Yes. I actually spent quite a lot of time in the UK, but I probably spent more time. Well, it's kind of hard to say because I've been there on so many occasions. So it's hard to say how much time I spent like in total in every place. But I lived in Cardiff in Wales for half a year. I moved there in January, and then I moved back to Norway in June in 1999 when I was a student. So 26 degrees Celsius, okay, or 27-ish. We have 25 degrees here, which is quite nice. And it's 20 degrees in Manchester. Yeah, I wonder if Sally is inland. Maybe. I don't know, but it's far too hot for me. I'm a bit surprised you use Fahrenheit, Sally. All the people I know in the UK actually use Celsius as well as in Ireland. I have lots of friends in the UK and Ireland, and they all use Celsius. The only people I know using Fahrenheit are Americans. So I don't know. So yeah. But yeah, I think it's about 25 degrees here outside. I actually I have the door of the one of the balconies open, and I was supposed to close it because there's some sort of concert. It's not super close, but it's not far. But when it's like nice weather like today, a couple of days ago we had like really wet and rainy weather. But when it's sunny today, it's we can hear the concert, which is placed at Isengran, is where it's called. And so I was supposed to close the door, and then I forgot because I was sitting outside reading, because it's quite nice to sit there. It's not in the sunshine, so it's in the shade, so it's quite nice to sit outside now. It's almost 9 o'clock, and of course it's sunny. Sun is shining, and the sky is blue. Super nice. That's 9 p.m. by the way. For those of you thinking I might be morning, but it's not. 5 miles from the coast. Okay, so 5 miles is 5 miles, 2 kilometers. Oh, so it's 8 kilometers. That's not far. I think I used Fahrenheit because it was what I grew up with. Really? Oh. I can't ever remember using Fahrenheit in the UK. Not even in the 80s or 90s. Of course, so I spent quite a lot of time my first visit to the UK was in the 80s, but then I spent quite a lot of time in 1995. I was in York for 3 weeks, and lots of stuff. I'm ignoring you, Riverman, because you're just pulling my leg, and I don't care for that. So, yes. So I can't remember using Fahrenheit any of the time I spent like chunks of times in the UK. So I was 3 weeks that was when I was in university and studied English, and we went to York for a three-week study program, which was really cool. I lived in university halls of residence, so we shared a kitchen with some British students, and yeah, got to know some English people, which was cool. That's actually some really fond memories. I probably have some pictures laying about somewhere, though I'm not sure where they are at the moment. They probably... I don't know if I ever scanned any and digitalized them, or if I only have the paper versions. It would be fun to find them and have a look at the pictures from York, because it was quite good time. I might be going for a nighttime swim with friends later. Do remember that I'm ancient. I don't think you're ancient, Sally. No, I don't think you're ancient. Nighttime swim. So do you swim in the ocean, or do you swim in like a lake or a river? Because here most people prefer swimming in the ocean, because we're kind of on the coast. I've only lived here for a year, but I grew up inland, so I grew up with swimming in fresh water. And to this day, I don't like swimming in salt water, like the ocean. I feel when I swim in salt water, I get really sticky, and it's very uncomfortable, so I don't like that at all. Celsius became more widespread after the decimal currency was introduced. So what was that? So, decimal. Karen. See? UK. The process of designing Britain's decimal coin began in 1961, far earlier than you imagine. On Monday, 15th of February 1971, Britain went decimal. However, 40 years after the first decimal coins entered circulation, it was time for rejuvenation. All right. So this is from a webpage called the Royal Mint. So this is the story. Yeah, of course, it took ages for things to happen in the UK. So conservative. I remember. I spent, when was this? 1991. I also spent quite a lot of time in the UK, or England. I was actually on this language learning trip to Hastings during the summer. That was also 3 weeks. So that was also 3 weeks in Hastings. And 1991. So I went on my own. A lot of people went with friends or something, but I went on my own, and it was I had a host family that I lived with, and it was a little bit of a it was interesting, to say the least, because I lived with a family, and there was a couple of things that I kind of really noticed back then was that I was surprised by how far it was behind with equality between men and women, because we were so much further in Norway. And also I was surprised by all the potatoes. I actually thought, because I remember being served pizza and we got potatoes with the pizza, and I actually thought that they gave us potatoes as a misunderstanding, because I was Norwegian. We were Norwegians. People staying there were Norwegians, and I thought that they misunderstood and thought we had potatoes with every meal because we eat a lot of potatoes in Norway. And of course, many years later, I kind of have understood that you have like potatoes or chips with a lot of meals. That makes no sense to me. Like pasta, like lasagna. It's like, do you want chips with your lasagna? Chips or salad with your lasagna? And of course, it's salad because chips. It doesn't make sense. Ben says, taking life in your hands, swimming in British waters at the moment. And then, UK changing slowly, surely not with a laugh, crying laugh emoji. Lysel says, I'm not old, but I am ancient. That's a very difficult word. It will be at the seaside, so we will also make sand castle. Maths in pounds, shilling and pence was challenging. Oh, maths in pounds, shillings and pence was challenging. Okay. Yeah, never thought that. I guess we always did that. There's a lot of stuff like miles. I know that a lot of both British and Americans and Irish people still uses miles, and I never remember how much a mile is. I know it's like 1.6 kilometers, or is it like 1.5 kilometers or something around that. So yeah, give me the kilometers, and I'll. But also, it's like when I read like translated recipes from, like, for example, American to metric, and it seems like they think we use milliliters rather than like a teaspoon, but we don't. We use teaspoon and tablespoons as well. But as well we do like deciliters, and that's also like I sometimes I see recipes with like 10 deciliters of 10 milliliters, or is it 100 milliliters or something of water, and I was like, but why don't you just say 1 deciliter? That's what I do. It's like deciliters. It's like when I made bread today, I used how much? I think it was like 5 deciliters of water, 3 deciliters of one flour, 2 deciliters of another flour, like different flours, 2 deciliters, 1 deciliter of oats, and a deciliter of flax seeds. So yeah, all. But then there was like 2 teaspoons of yeast, like dried yeast, and 1 teaspoon of salt, and 1 tablespoon of date syrup, and 2 tablespoons of olive oil. So yeah, so I use recipes as like, yeah, just use spoons. So I was surprised when I was served a curry with C. What's a curry with C? Ben says, I confuse people and alternate. And Ben says, US recipe baffle me sometimes. How much exactly is a cup of flour? I have a lot of cups. Yes. Oh, I can't remember the measurements, but I actually am fortunate enough to have a set of cup thingies. Like I have a 1 cup, half cup measures that I got from a neighbor I used to have when I lived up in the very north. I had an American neighbor and she had like these extra sets, so I was given that and I use that when I cook using American recipes, which I don't really do all that often anymore because there are no so many good recipes in like European recipes, so I rather use them with the metrics rather than the cups for some reason. £12 to a shilling, 6 shillings in a half crown. Okay, I never used those things. Oh, you were served curry with chips. Oh yes. Actually, I've had chips with curry sauce, and it was actually really good. And another thing that is really good, that is very Irish, is chili chips. So you have like chips with chili on it. It's yummy. I never had it before. Before I was started seeing an Irish person. My partner is Irish, so my partner has brought some Irish traditional food, which is good. Then says, to be fair, I don't bake it very often, and when I cook, I kind of make it up because chaos gremlin. Yeah, when I make like dinner, like today, I made chili and measurement. Nope. I just like do everything on a whim, sort of, when it comes to dinners. Chili chips are amazing, says Sven. Absolutely agree. They're yummy. And I made chili today. It turned out really good, but very spicy because I think I put in a little bit too much of the dried, I had some dried jalapenos. So that was kind of fiery, to say the least. But it was super nice still. And I had this Oatly Imat Fresh, it's called, which is like a, almost like, it's like a, I think you say creme fraiche. So it's creme fraiche / sour cream substitute, but vegan. So that was yummy, very yummy. And of course there's leftovers, so that makes life easier. Of course, we also have some leftovers from yesterday's dinner. We had pasta bolognese and used soy mince. But yeah, so, and there's leftovers from that as well. We do wholemeal pasta though, because I actually like that better than just like the white pasta. It tastes nicer, it's more flavorful. Sally says, when I was a student, we would eat chips and curry sauce in the local graveyard. Oh, that's nice. That sounds really cozy, says the goth. Yeah. Oh, that sounds like a lovely thing to do. Actually, I like chips with curry sauce. It's yummy. Riverman says, I was hit with another surprise grocery list. Gotta go to the store later, friends. Have fun. Okay, maybe you'll see you later, Riverman. If not, have a nice trip to the shop. Then says, grave in a graveyard feels like such a UK thing to do. Maybe. I don't know. It depends on here. There is a lovely, lovely graveyard in Oslo called Vår Frelsers Gravlund, or Our Saviour's Graveyard. And that's definitely a place I would like to have a picnic. Because it's such a nice place, and it has some really, really nice, what do you call them? Headstones. So, yeah. Yeah, I have not been shopping today. I was planning on weeding, but I did something to my neck last night. I don't know. So when I woke up, it was super painful. I woke up early because it was super painful. And then painkillers didn't really help either because it was so painful. So I should probably do some yoga later on and do some stretches for my neck because it hurts. Still hurts. So I was supposed to weed today, but I didn't get around to weed, but I need to do it tomorrow because it is much needed. Hopefully it will not rain. I have not had a look at the forecast yet. So no, it's not going to be raining. It might be overcast, but quite warm. It's going to be 28 degrees Celsius, so that's kind of nice. So Sally says it was lovely. There were wonderful Victorian monuments, etc. Yeah, that sounds super nice. Absolutely. There are some nice graveyards around. I've seen a few. So yeah, I am thinking, should we do a sprint again? Should we do a reading sprint again? What do you guys think? Do you have your books? Are you thinking of reading, continue reading? Are you starting something new, Ben? That's what I would like to know. Are you going to use some time, or are you planning on doing something else while we sprint? I think I can see that it's now 20 past 9, so I'm probably just going to do the one more sprint, and I'm going to do 30 minutes again. So that I can go to bed not too late. I am going to continue my book, of course. Get some reading done. I'm actually probably going to make another cup of tea. I pretty much finished the tea that I had. So I need to make another cup. Ben says, I'm starting either House of Good Bones or the Gingerbread Men. Both horror. Yes, because you are doing Don't Die July still. Horror is also a genre I really enjoy, but currently I'm just reading fantasy. I don't know why, just the way it is. Let's read, says Sally. So I'm going to put the timer to 30 minutes and I will see you on the other end of that sprint. Hello! Did you get to read anything? I actually found it hard to stop this time around. It's really, really exciting. Is that what, maybe? Yeah, I kind of want to know what happens next, that's for sure. So I'm now on chapter 40. I think I'm around, oh, well, how much did I read? I don't even remember. A little bit over 20 pages is what I read. I'm not very good at keeping track of the pages. Oh, hello, Julissa! Hey, how are you doing? What are you currently reading? And how are the boys doing? Ben says managed to read about 40 pages. That is well done in 30 minutes. That being said, I normally read faster in Norwegian than I read in English, naturally. But yes, I am actually really, really enjoying the book. I am about, I've almost read, I'm almost read 250 pages. I actually I was kind of, not concerned, but I thought maybe there would be a lot more spice in it than there is. So there has been spice, but I had to read like over halfway to get to the spice, and there hasn't been any spice since then. Might be some later on, who knows. But I'm very glad that it's not like the whole story. That's for sure. So when did you start reading then? Because you weren't quite sure on what you wanted to read. And yep, I have my tea. And I forgot to close the door again. So I can hear, I'm not sure if you can hear it, but I can hear the concert in the background. And it's slightly annoying, to be honest. Because you can't really make out the music when you're inside. So what did you start reading then? I am very curious. So this was the last sprint. It's good so far. Got some underlying humor. Oh, that's good. So did you start the Gingerbread Man? Or did you start House of Good Bones? That kind of reminds me. I actually once watched a. Oh, okay. So you're reading House of Good Bones. Okay, that's good. But humor is good. I once watched a really, really crappy horror movie once, and I think it was called. Was it like the Gingerbread Man or something? It was really, really low budget. I think it was like a sea film or something. But it was kind of so, it's like sometimes horror films can be so bad, they get really hilarious, and that was one of those. So I actually watched it with a friend of mine. I was visiting a friend of mine in Norwich at the time. Unfortunately, we kind of lost touch. I think I have him on Instagram, but yeah. I haven't seen him in 10 years, so because I haven't really had the time to kind of reach out, and well, I have had the time to reach out, but it goes both ways. So Julissa says, I'm reading Confessions of an Alleged Good Girl. I'm finally eating something. It's almost 3 p.m. here. Okay, so is that your first meal of the day, Julissa? Because if it's 1500 and you haven't eaten yet, that is not good. I've had several meats today. Meals. I have not had any meat, that's for sure. I don't eat meat. I'm not savage. But it's good that you've finally eaten something. Are you busy today? First meal of the day. Yeah, you need to eat, Jalisa. I am on my second mug of tea for tonight. It will be the last, so I don't pee in the bed. That would be bad. That would be bad. So it's now closing into so it's 21:56 here now, and yeah, it's still light outside. Though after 10 o'clock it shouldn't be too long until it's sundown. Because we're now far into July, so it's a month since, it's almost a month since midsummer. So the days are getting shorter again, which I have mixed feelings about, to be honest with you. I really like the long nights. When I lived up north, we would have midnight sun from I think it was like mid-May-ish until beginning, or like maybe it was late May. I don't quite remember exactly when, and then until I can't remember when midnight sun stopped. I think it must have been August or something, and then by early November we would have polar night, and then we didn't see the sun. We didn't have any sunlight until late January, early February, and like the first sight of the sun was like a big deal. I remember we didn't get a day off or anything, but I know that they used to do that. Okay, this is a bit unexpected, but I actually really need to go to the loo. So I'm just going to pop down to the toilet, and then I'll see you very shortly. Sorry about that. I think it must have been all the tea that I've been drinking. Yes, still drinking tea. There's not much left in my mug though. Sally says, Vivaldi Winter. Yes. I think it was indeed Vivaldi Winter. I didn't plan that. But yes, I was a bit surprised when I came up and saw that it was Vivaldi. I actually quite like Vivaldi as well as a lot of other classical music. So yes, did you read anything, Sally? Did you get a taste of anything? Did you read anything that you thought maybe you would continue reading? So it's now past 22 here, still daylight as I said, and it is getting late, so I don't think I should be chatting too long because I need to go to bed. As things are, I need enough sleep. As most of you know, I have a migraine disease, and if I don't get enough sleep, I can get a migraine attack. And I'm trying to avoid that because it's not fun and I don't have time. I have too much stuff going on. I need to get some things done tomorrow. And then there's Monday. I am wondering whether to do yoga tomorrow or not. Not sure about that. It's at 17, so or 5 p.m. So I don't know. Maybe not. I could also do yoga at home. I am actually. I've done so much yoga. I have no problems doing a yoga session at home. But it's easier for me to do the yin classes at the studio rather than doing them at home because it's yin and I'm not very good at keeping track of the time. Well, if I do a more like dynamic flow, it's easier for me to do it at home. Or it's not easier than going to the studio, but it's easier than doing yin at home. Ben says, I need to rearrange and deep clean downstairs tomorrow. Oh, deep clean is no fun, is it? Today has been a proper lazy day, which is good, Ben. You need lazy days as well. You work a lot, so that would be good. Sally says, yes, I started rereading Vile Bodies. Oh, right. I actually have a book crossing copy of that. And it's currently in some box. I really need to get going on that library at some point. But I don't have time at the moment. I might not be able to do anything until I'm back from Glasgow. But yes, I have that book as well. I haven't read it though. But it is a classic, so I should, or I want to. It's not like I should, but I want to. I should get around to it at some point. I also want to reread some Jane Austen. I've reread Pride and Prejudice. I reread, was it last year? I think Northanger Abbey is also a book I reread a lot. I am also been thinking of rereading one of the other books that I haven't read that much. I have read all her like major works, all her major like novels, twice at least twice. So I would love to reread maybe Mansfield Park, maybe. I've been thinking of. And also, I should know this. There's the other more serious book, and it's like not Sense and Sensibility, not Pride and Prejudice, not Northanger Abbey, and there's not Mansfield Park, and then there's what is it called? I need to I need to look this up. I should know this because I love Jane Austen, and I've read, as I said, I've read her works. But for some reason, my brain just froze. See if I can find. No. Major works. So, Sense and Sensibility, Emma, Northanger Abbey. Persuasion. Persuasion is the one I was thinking of reading. I know there's like, I think there's a adaptation that has been criticized a lot. That is on Netflix, I think, and I still haven't watched it. So I was thinking of rereading Persuasions and then watching it, even though I've read the book a couple of times already, so I could just go ahead and watch it but I haven't for some reason. Sally says it's really humorous. Oh, that's good to know. Yes, that's good to know. So I'm sure I'll have a good time when I get around to reading it. But I really also want to reread more Jane Austen, because it's one of my favorite authors. I have so many books to read, and still I reread my favorite books. Another book that I would love to reread is the two books by Genevieve Gourmet, because I love her books. And I also want to reread Heartstopper. I have all 5 volumes. And I've reread all of them except for the 5th. The 5th was my last read of 2023. And I am thinking of hopefully rereading them before there's a new season, but I'm not quite sure when there's a new season. I have a feeling it should be soon, but I might be totally mistaken as well. Because, yeah. Ven says, I loved Heartstopper. Yes, same. It's among my favorite graphic novels. I also started watching Sandman finally. I love The Sandman by Neil Gaiman. And I first came across them when I was living in University Halls of Residence at the University of Oslo. And I had one of my flatmates had the books and lent them to me. So this was during late 90s, I think, 1990s. And I absolutely just fell in love with the books. So I've been thinking about I should probably see if I can get the copies of The Sandman, because I've never owned them. I always borrow. I can also borrow them from the library. But it would be good to own them. I actually have one. I have one volume of The Sandman. And I think I have it signed by Neil Gaiman, actually. Then says, I was talking about Sandman yesterday to Ginger Bibliophile. I have still not watched the series, but heard good things. Yes. I just started the series. I haven't gotten very far, to be honest with you. But I'm really enjoying it. It's very dark, but I like dark. It's very... You can see how this has been like a major works for like goths. It's very goth in many ways, and I absolutely love that. It's dark and melancholy and quirky. So I am totally in love with the books, and the series as well. So I should probably continue that, but sometimes I just need to do anything else. Ven says dark is very much my vibe. Oh yeah, same. Absolutely same. I don't think anyone has seen me wearing pink since I was like a teen. 12 or 13 or something. Since then I have not been wearing pink. I've only worn white when either like a nightgown, that is okay, but not like outside. And the only time I did was when I was singing in a choir, and we had to wear white. And we of course had to buy our own clothes that we were wearing, and I had to wear white, which was no fun. Because I had to buy new clothes for that, like the performance for the choir, because I didn't own anything white. Sally says, I really enjoyed Neverwhere. Yeah, Neverwhere is probably my favorite novel ever. So I have several copies of Neverwhere, several different copies, and I have at least one or maybe two of them signed by Neil Gaiman. Then since 90% of my wardrobe is black or grey, makes it easier to pick. Oh yeah, absolutely. I do have some colors like red and green and blue, but it's mostly t-shirts, actually. I also have a black dress with like dark green flowers on it, and I like to put maybe a velvet top on over that or something. Gaiman is facing SA charges. Oh, really? I did not know that. I did not know that. That's disappointing. Especially if it's true, but sometimes you never know if it's actually true. Ven says, I heard about that last week. Details were a bit thin on the ground when I went digging. Yeah, but I guess that it's probably you might not know a lot because of the privacy of things, but sometimes it's very hard to know, you know. I used to know someone who was actually charged with SA, and that was not the person I knew at all. But then again, you never know. But I think the girls who actually accused him were kind of known to lie. So it's hard to know. It's very hard to know. I can't remember the outcome of that, but I don't think he ever went to prison. So I don't think he was. I think he was probably. The verdict was probably not guilty. I think. Because I remember seeing him shortly after and talking to him. And he was always nice to me. It involves the nanny amongst others. Okay. I don't know. I like not judging people. I just I think there is something about like giving the benefit of the doubt. So I like doing that, and that is for most things. Ben says, I know he has denied it and said everything that happened was consensual, but early days in the accusation. Yeah. Also, we don't know the details. We weren't there, so we don't know, and I don't want to say that any of them is right or wrong. It's also, if you can't say anything, anyone is guilty until it's proven. Sort of proven, or unless it could be proven in several ways, probably. So, yeah, it's hard to tell. Okay, so, So, are you watching anything else? Are you watching something fun? I actually started watching Conversation with Friends. I've read the book, but I kind of just stopped for some reason. I don't really know why. I should probably pick it up again, because I was kind of enjoying it. So I'm thinking of maybe picking it back up. Okay, anyway, I am starting to get quite tired, actually. I don't watch things, it's becoming a bit of a joke. That's fine, Ben. Yeah, anyway, I'm actually going to stop this stream. Mainly because I'm getting really tired. It's getting late and I need my beauty sleep. Also, I think I want to read a little bit more before I go to sleep. So I'm going to bring my book to bed and read. And then I have like plenty of things to do tomorrow. And hopefully I'll manage to do them. Hopefully I'll feel okay. Hopefully my neck is better tomorrow. And I hope you will have a good swim, Sally. And then I hope you'll enjoy your reading and get the deep cleaning done tomorrow and not be too frustrated with it. And Ben is saying, hope you get a good sleep, hon. Have a good night, everyone. Yeah, sleep well, Ben, when you get that far. And I will absolutely see you around. And who knows, maybe I'll do another reading sprint in a not too distant future. Who knows? I'll see what I have time to do. Okay, so with that, I am signing off, and have a good night and enjoy your books. Right.